Hello YouTube and welcome to yet another video. So today I wanted to continue my installment from the first video where I tried to do some drills on the end game. So this is the second installment where I will try my best to learn some more about the end game, and possibly you will learn a bit as well. So the king and pawn end games in this first one is about timing. And it says, warning, this is not quite as simple as it might seem, but I believe in you. You need to be very careful before pushing your h-pawn. Look ahead and make sure that you don't end up in a drawn king and pawn versus king position. Okay, so let's start. So we have this pawn, and that pawn might be very important because we have not only one but two tempos that we can try to make some use of in the future in this position. But right now, I think that we should bring our king to f6, and if he brings his king to f8, then probably we can do a waiting move, either with h3 or g5. But I like h3 more because it doesn't commit anything just yet. And if we get stuck with this h pawn, then black might be able to draw. So if I play h3, he can't really. If he pushes h6, then I can simply go and take that. And if I were to push my g pawn, then he could actually play h5 or h6, aiming to just get rid of that h pawn by himself. And if I took it with my pawn on g5, for instance, then this would just end in a draw, right? He moves his king to g8, and there's no way for me to actually get that king out of the corner. Okay. And if I bring my king over here, he can simply move back and forth as long as possible. But we have to consider this move order. So here, and then if we go one move ahead, he goes there to g8, and then we continue h4. The king moves back to h8, and then let's say g5. The king moves to g8, and then h5. Well, it doesn't really matter, h5 or g5, but yeah. So h5 or g5, and the king goes to g8. And then if we push and he takes, we take back, then this king goes here. And then if we push again, the king goes back to g8, and then king to g6, and that's stalemate. But what if we made a two moves with that pawn instead of just one? It wasn't supposed to do that. That was actually a blunder by me because I had this pawn marked with my mouse, and yeah. So I wasn't supposed to do that, but so let's say king g6, king h8, and then h4, king g8, h5, king h8, h5, king king g8, and then g6, king h8. Then if we doesn't take, then we have a problem. We might have a problem at least, or do we? Because then we can push g7, and the king has to go here, because that's with a check, right? And then I don't know, just way to move. But okay, so I'm thinking king g6 at least. It seems like a really good way of dealing with this. So we need to establish what worked and what doesn't work. So h4, king g8, g5. So the tempo is very, very important. Where was I? h4, king g8, h5. I'm sorry, h5, king h8, g5, king g8, g6, king h8 again. Now we can't take, that makes a draw. And if we push, then king to g8 because it's a check. But what can we do after that? Because then our pawn here actually stops everything, doesn't it? We can't push that pawn forward. And he protects his own pawn. So what do we do? h4, h5, g5, g6. That is 1, 2, 3, 4 moves. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. He ends up on h8. Or if he stays on g8 and takes, then we take back and king to g8. What did I say now? And then king h8. That also leads to stalemate. So this is kind of hard, and it's really fun to actually try to get the best out of a position like this. And yes, I've had someone ask me in the comments on my YouTube videos that I should make the volume more well, better at least. But the problem is I tried to use these Soul Pro Runner or Soul Pro, I don't know what they're called, and connect them, and I get the sound from what I'm listening into, but my driver actually just the driver programs just shuts down whenever I try to record with these, and that's terrible. And I don't know why, but I don't really manage to get those things to work. So I have to stick with the old-fashioned one that is stuck into my computer. I'm so sorry for that. If you're listening in on any mobile devices or something like that, then this sound might be a little low, I think. And yeah, so I can show you that actually, because the only phone that I have is this. True story. I don't have a Facebook page, and I don't have a Twitter account. I don't use Instagram or Snapchat or anything like that. So I'm basically back to the Stone Age with this phone. But it's so great to have, because what you deal with there is a battery that can last you like a week at least. Let's continue. So h4, king g8, h5, king h8, g5, king g8, g6, capture, capture, king g8, and there we go. But my goodness, what about h4, king g8, h5, king h8, g5, king g8, g6, and then king to h8. It seems like a blunder. So what about h3, king g8, then h4, king h8, h5. I'm getting out of this. Okay, so I'm just gonna not use the arrows. So h3, king g8, h4, king h8, h5, king g8, g5. So it seems as if h3. It seems as if h3 is the better move here. h3, h4, h5, g5, g6. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 moves, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He ends up on g8 after these. Yeah. Maybe I counted wrong, but I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I can even play g5 here. Okay, so it just gives it away. All right. That's just stupid, but okay. Didn't actually try to do anything for us there. Kind of sad actually, but all right. Let's try to win this with a king and a queen. We'll see how that goes. Actually, let's do this. Okay, so we managed to get that one right. But I want to show you what would have happened if I had played h4 instead. So let's look at this. And if I go here, that is obvious. Like either king h6 or king f6. Don't let that black king get to g7. That is just terrible. So what would have happened if I played h4 here? Then probably a draw, as the computer says, because g5, h5, here, here, and if we push, then king g8, and we have to protect our pawn, right? So that would be a stalemate. Okay. So let's see that in action one more time. Going here. And now it just goes king f7, but okay. Now I'm going to show you how to mate with a rook in this position. So we're going to cut off the king as much as possible. And now we have him somewhat cornered, right? He can't really do much than to play on the a file right now. And we bring our king over. Yeah, he doesn't even bother with that. Okay, so let's bring our king to d5. And now you could be a bit cautious actually. You could play your king to c6, c5 or c4, but which one is actually the most effective? If we go to c5, then king to a6 or king to a4, and we don't achieve much there, because we want this king to be on this square when it's our turn, right? So we can bring that checkmate. So if we go here, the king would probably go to a4, and then we would have to go and chase that king. King a3, king c4, king a2. Now we'd have to move our rook over. Now probably king to a3. And now if we do the same thing, if we play king to c3 here, then king a4, and we don't do much, so then we would have to make a waiting move, let's say rook to b7, and then the king would have to go back to a2, then king to c3, king a1, king c2, and then king a2, and checkmate on a7. But is there a faster mate here? And yes, it is. King to c4, because then the king cannot come down, because then we checkmate him immediately. So we would have to go upwards, and then we just follow until he has to return from the corner up to a7. So this is the faster mate here, guys. All right. So let's go to the next drill, and let's see how that is. King and pawn endgame, opposition. Okay, the opposition is so important in chess endgames, and I'm not an expert in opposition and in chess in general, but I know that it's goddamn important. So can you really draw this endgame? Yes, but only if I know the opposition like the back of your hand. I assume there should be a U there. Yes, but only if you know the opposition like the back of your hand. All right, so let's start. So what is the opposition, and what is the opposition in this position specifically? So the opposition is trying to get in front of the other king so that he has to deflect to make another move, and in this case f6 is not possible because it's covered by a pawn there. So the opposition is when we move in front of the black king, in this case, and the king has to move, let's say, to d6, and then we would follow. But the problem is, does that make the opposition? Yes, we have the opposition in this case, but once the king moves, where does our king move? Because we can play king to d4, but then he goes back to e6. Where do we go then? We can't go too far away because this h4 pawn is actually gonna be a bit tricky. So if we go king e4, king d6, king d4, then probably king back to e6, king back to e4. And what if we repeat that again? So king to d6 again, king to d4 again. And what if he tries to go here? Then we could go to e5. And be aware that we couldn't really go to the f6 square in that case because he could push. So we just have to wait and stay close enough to this pawn so that we didn't or don't make that pawn queen. So this is the opposition at least. But what if we go here and he just simply pushes? Then we have to move to catch that pawn, right? And then he goes again. Let's say king g3, pawn to h2, king captures h2, king to f5. This is just one variation. And then king to g2, very good move. We could play king h3 as well, but king g2, keeping this in opposition, because after he takes, then we play king g3. Not playing king g3 first, because then he takes and we are the ones who have to leave our post for the opponent's king. So let's do that. Let's go here. Now we could go here, but let's see what happens. If we go there, then he could play king to c5, and we can't really go to f6, can we? So after this move, he has the opposition. So that means that we would have to go back here, and the king could probably go there. And then what would then happen, right? What if we play king to c4? Can we stop the pawn then? Well, let's see. So h4, king d3, h3, king to e3, h2, king to f2, and h1, queening. So we're one square away. And as many other videos suggest and says, is that as long as you're inside a box, then you are happy. So right now we're inside the box, right? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if this one moves one step closer, then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So then we would have to be inside this box, right? And if we go to c4, we cannot reach this box. So we need to figure out some way of dealing with this. So we could play king to e4, and that might be the best move here, because if king to c5, then we get the opposition, king to e5, and let's say king to c4, we just move our king back to e4, and keeping the king away from this side right here. And if the king were to go, let's say, to b4, we don't really have to follow. We can simply move one step closer to the pawn, and if the king then moves here, we get the opposition again. So yeah, that's basically it. I think that king to e4 is the drawing move. So let's get the opposition. And if we go here, then h4, king back to d5, e5 I mean, h3, remember the box, here, 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 and we're one step too far away. So we can't do that, but the opposition is still available with king to d4. And if king to b5, we're still inside the box after king to d5. So let's say after king to d5, h4, king to e4, h3, king to f3, h2, king g2, and he can't promote because then we would capture on h1. So let's go here. So he goes there. Then I think we can go here again, actually. Yeah. And now we could go to d5. And keep the opposition. That's basically it. And now we should probably get the distant opposition. Playing king to e4 maybe. So let's do that. And now probably king d5. Yeah. And we can bring our king back to e4 actually. And as you can see, there's not much that the king can do. Like it can't do anything to kick us away. And now we could play king to d5, let's say. If the king goes here, then we simply move back. So I think we can do that. And if we go to e4 in this position, then he has king to e6, getting the opposition, and then probably he's winning. But we can play king to d4. So let's do that, because he doesn't have f6 available. King to d4 again. e4, I mean, sorry. And king to d4. Just keeping the distant opposition there. King to e5. And this is quite terrible, actually, because we could have just agreed to draw in this position. But, yeah. He wants us to play it out. Because I can't ever go to f6 and grab that pawn. So let's say I did that. Let's say I went king to f6, then h4, captures h3, king here, h2, g6, h1 queen, g7. But that isn't enough because he can give a check. And that check will, well, it will kill us, basically. The queen will get closer and, yeah, there's not much to do. So let's go king d4, king d5. Okay, so now I have to be a bit careful. If I go here, then remember the box. I can't really get there then, can I? So I need to be aware of that. And if I go here, let's say g4, then he has, I believe, king to c7. Yeah, and then we have king to d5, so it doesn't really matter. Okay. Okay, I'm getting a bit I'm getting a bit frustrated right now because we have to play it out. And once it reaches 49 moves, it will probably just play h4, just to be a really nice computer. Yeah, so if we go here, then if he goes there, then we have this. And if he goes here, then we have this. So let's go here. And I'm actually surprised that chess.com doesn't have this offer draw feature in these drills, because although you learn from this, it's kind of weird to have to play this out. Whoa. Yeah, let's go back one move. Let's go here. Really? Have I lost now? Is that what you're saying? Oh my goodness. Now he gets the opposition. I'm so bored of this endgame right here. Um okay. Yes, let's go here. Really? Yeah, because yeah, I'm so sorry. But as I said, I'm just so bored about this position. I can't go to c5 because then again h4, king d4, h3, king e3, and we're one step too far. So we can go here. And again, we have to be a bit cautious where we put our king here. But now there's only one move, king h3, and after he captures, we go king to g3, and wherever the king goes, we just mirror him. That's the opposition right there. And now that he can't get his king in front of the pawn, we're just going to go down, and after the king goes to h4, we're going to mirror again, and the king pawn moves forward. We don't step back, but we could do that as well, but we just mirror him. So wherever he goes, we're just simply just gonna mirror. Yeah. Okay. So I lost concentration right there, but it's a really nice way of showing the opposition in this game, and the distant opposition as well. So let's go to the next drill. Opposition. Do you know this famous endgame study? It's a beautiful illustration of the power of the opposition in defense. If you have practiced the previous drills carefully, you should be able to find the right drawing idea. Okay. So we're going to draw this. So I am thinking king to b1 here, because after king to b4, we go to b2. We could also possibly play c5 and after takes c6 and takes. The problem with that is that his pawn is on c7. So wherever our kings, where our king are or is on the board, he has both one, two, or just one immediately, getting a tempo on our king. So basically, we are doomed in that position. So we're gonna go to b1. Really? Okay. But so what I was thinking at least, king b1. Yeah, it is. It just makes the same. I'm sorry. Yeah, let's let's do that again. All right. I'm gonna get rid of those arrows. Okay. Probably b6. b6 seems like a good move here. If he takes, yes, yes. And now king to b1, probably. We could even play c5 maybe. c5 might be a good idea. Just getting that pawn away onto the c file, and then we just play king to b1. And if king to b5, we play king to c1. If the king tries to move in front of the pawn, then king to c2. seems very natural. Yes, king b1. So I had the right idea with king b1, but I didn't realize when I first thought of king b1 that he had these both 1 and 2 squares for his pawn. So we're just gonna control that king with the opposition here, so that he has to move his pawn in front of the king and then mirror. Yeah, okay. Mirror, 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 as they say in Norway. Mirror. Yeah. So he tries his best, but it doesn't really matter. As long as we mirror him once he tries to get on the side of the pawn, right? Yeah, stalemate. Or not enough material. Alright, let's do one more drill and then we're gonna end this session. Okay. Can you navigate this minefield? If you can maintain the opposition and watch the pawn breaks, white's extra pawn will not be enough to win. Okay. Start. So, what do we have here? I don't even know how to drink. I'm just spilling it all out. But okay. So, how do we deal with this? If we go king to h7, then he has h5. And we probably have to take, because otherwise he would have a g6 pawn and this f4 pawn, which when they're connected, they are almost always impossible to stop. So king h7, h5, and this is the first thing I'm looking at. I think that king f7 is the right answer, just saying that. But king h7, h5, getting rid of that pawn. And we would have to take, and then king captures h5, getting the opposition, so that our king would have to go to g7, king g5, and we're basically screwed. But if king to f7, yeah, why we're screwed is because the king is in front of the pawn. He has the opposition, so once we move here, let's say, the king goes to g6. And if we go to f8, the king goes to f6. And when we go to g8, he goes to e7, and just supports this pawn's queening square, the march of the pawn. So that's why king f7 seems like a better choice, because if he goes here now and we take, he takes, then we could simply play our king to f6. And in order for him to guard that pawn, he would have to go back to g4. And then we would get the opposition. And let's say if we went here and he went f5 and we took, yes, he do have the opposition, but this is a rook pawn. And rook pawns, as you may know, are really hard to promote just king and pawn versus king, because it's always a stalemate in some form. Either the black or white king is in the corner and he can't get out because of the opponent's king. So I'm positively sure that king f7 works here. But the computer says no. And yeah, so the king goes to g4. So the computer was actually first showing plus 49, and then it went down to 0 again. So I don't know what that was. But if I had gone here, and I can show you why, I can play it against the computer once I'm done with this, then I can show you why that should be a draw. Why that should be an easy win for white. So I think king f6, because he cannot go to f4, gaining the opposition. And if he tries to play f5, we simply take, and then he has to worry about our pawn as well. And if he goes h5, we take. He takes, and we go king f5. We have the opposition, and we can simply chop off that f4 pawn as well. So king f6, and now we just go king f5. And now I think we have to be maybe a bit careful, because if we go here and he goes here, and we go, let's say here, yeah, I do believe that king to e6 is the better move here, just because after this move we can simply go back to f6, not worrying about him getting to g5 again. So let's go here. Okay, let's go to f6, keeping the distant opposition. Let's go back to e6 probably, or we could go to f7. Let's go to f7. Let's go to e6, f5, f6. Yeah, let's go here. So, or should we go to g7? If we go to g7, then king to g5, and then we have to move a king somewhere, and then it would come into either h6 or f6. So I'm thinking king f7 here, just because then now we have the opposition again. Now we push him backwards. So yeah. So let's go here, and after king to g3 or e3, let's see what he does. But I'm thinking king to e6 if g3, yeah. Let's go here. Okay, so now the computer said, yes, you have a draw. But in the previous drill, when we tried our best to just keep the the opposition, then it would just go on and on and on. And I just got so freaking tired of it. But all right. So let's look at the other line that I want to show you before we go somewhere else. So yeah, is it possible? Let's just retry that, and let's go to h7. Let me just show you that, because it's really instructive to see what is wrong and what is right. So as I said, he goes h5 because now he gains the opposition, and we have to move our king somewhere. So if we go to h8, he would go king h6. If we go to g8, he would go king g6. In any case, he would get the opposition, right? He gains it, he knows it, and he plays it. Now king to g6 is the best move, and after king to f8, king to f6. Or you can simply go there. That's true. But yeah, because after, couldn't he just have pushed there? Couldn't he have pushed? I'm confused. So after here, 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 there, king e7. Okay, I don't understand. But alright, king g8. If he had pushed and we would have gone to f8. Then he pushed again to f7, then king e7, then king g7. Yeah, but alright, king f8 here. Let's go here. So now he does it the opposite side, but alright. And there we go. Yeah. So now we failed at the drill, of course. But it's really important to notice that these two are so different. Because of that rook pawn here. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have any suggestions for future videos, then please feel free to comment or send me a message. And we can always play at chess.com if you'd like. My username you can see at the right lower corner on the screen, and yeah, look for my Twitch channel as well, Norwegian Chess Giant. I'm streaming like at least 3 or 4 times a week, I think. I'm not entirely sure how many times I stream, but yeah, 3 or 4 times a week. And let's continue developing. Developing. Did I really say developing? Let's continue to become a better chess player, at least. My English is so terrible. Norwegians and English. That's not a good combination. All right. Anyways, bye.